what? An episode like Data's did? This sucks. I hate this. But I mean, you have it in the past and all of a sudden, hey, wasn't that cool? It was cool, wasn't it? So what are we going as for Halloween? We're going as, corn. We're going as corn. Trick or treat. Thanks. You've heard of The Inner Light, the classic TNG episode. Now meet The Inner Fight. This is the 9th episode of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4. This is the penultimate episode, as it were. The episode that comes before the final one. And, as such, it appears that this episode is mostly a two-parter, but not in name. It's just called The Inner Fight. Not Part 1, as far as I can tell. So this review is more of a work in progress. In a sense, many of the key details in this episode are not resolved. Plot lines are kind of left dangling, and it makes it hard to get a cohesive conclusion in one episode here. That being said, we just had a one-off episode, maybe 2 in a row one-off episodes, with episode 8 and episode 7, but we're back on track, and it feels good to be back in the saddle, back in the main overarching plot of this season, that being this mysterious ship that's, as we now found out, transporting away various ships of this universe, Orion ships, Ferengi ships, Bauza ships, Klingon ships. What's all that about? We're going to find out in this episode. With all that out of the way, let's see what's going on with the inner fight. Is this episode going to be about internal struggle, conflict, or is it going to be about remembering a past life, like in the episode Inner Light? A great episode of TNG, although it's not even my favorite. It's probably not even in the top 10. Isn't that funny? There's so many great episodes of Star Trek that two people can see every single episode and have a top 10 that's totally different than each other. Isn't that incredible? You know, we have a show here, a franchise, where we can have The Inner Light and Trouble with the Tribbles. How does that weigh out? How does a modern television producer understand that you can have a show with such varying extremes? Speaking of varying extremes, this is Lower Decks. We go from the heights of comedy to the absolute depths of pathology, catharsis, romance, terror. This episode has a good mix. This episode begins with a teaser where it sets up, not as far as I know, plot details, but the tone, the theme we're going for here. We're on a planet. We see civilian scientists. What is it with Star Trek civilian scientists always just willingly living on a planet, doing something dangerous, wearing very bland, drab, green clothes? That's what they have in this episode. Mariner, was it Tallinn? And Boimler. It's not important all who were there other than Mariner, as you see, but we're looking after these creatures that essentially will destroy you on bite. Acidic skin, they bite you, your eyes pop out, it's all very terrible. Civilian scientists, or I assume that they are, well, we really love these creatures. While the force field's up. Funny that. Why don't you guys just join Starfleet? You'll be able to study a different animal every day. No, we're just really romantically, scientifically involved with this one species. No, it's not a moopsie. It's a tremble bird or something like that. Anyway, they're totally terrible. And I wouldn't mind seeing them all extinct. Just joking. They don't have time to get their anti-venom suits on, which, by the way, look like repurposed TOS Star Trek suits. Had me very confused in the preview images. I did look at a few of them, but they were careful to choose which preview images to show and which not to show. We didn't get any big spoilers in those preview images, thankfully. This is an episode where spoilers would really ruin it, so I'm not going to continue on that track, on that train of thought right now. I thought these were, I don't know, they went back in time. This is a holodeck thing, but I don't know. It turns out that these scientists just had repurposed old Starfleet suits to fight against venom, to keep the venom from getting in, to protect you from these animals. I don't know if they'd really work. Mariner doesn't have time to get one on, and she runs out there. I don't know what she was planning, but one of these lizards, birds, whatever, bit through a wire, shields her down. She's running around, throwing things, climbing, and she gets it fixed and gets back into the building. Oh, whoops, she has one of these animals on her back. It jumps off and bites the scientist guy. Oh no, there go his eyes. Ugh. I don't know. It's like, I laugh, but I stop when we're hurting non-Starfleet people. That's what freaks me out. That's what puts me in the non-comedy zone and into the fear zone. I don't know if you felt the same way. I died laughing watching Asif lose his leg, but he's in Starfleet. It's okay. But this guy's just a civilian, I suppose, and we just, I don't know, saw his eyes fall out. Mariner, what did you do? I can't really tell you for sure if this would have happened or not had Mariner done what she done. But she was told not to, not exactly by superior officers, but the consensus was that this was a bad idea. Mariner comes back in with one of these creatures, and it, I don't know, kills or severely injures a non-Starfleet personnel. It's questionable. It's questionable. And the questionable activity for Mariner snowballs a little bit out of control in this episode. With your teaser out of the way, we're back into the meat of this episode, and what we see is a very nice shot of the Cerritos. I think with maybe a different surface shader, there's some kind of different specular effect. It looks really, really good. This looks like somehow an updated model, or a close-up, higher detail model of the Cerritos than we're used to seeing. Maybe I'm just seeing things, but I know I did see a cool-looking Cerritos. We're in the meeting room with Captain, and I believe Shaxs and Ransom. But Mariner is not invited. We have Talin, we have Boimler, we have Rutherford, we have Tendi. But curiously, Mariner is gone. What does that mean when you're in a meeting that has everybody but one person? Chances are the meeting is about that person, right? Not giving them the dignity of telling them up front, this is the captain's daughter. And maybe we're making a special request. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's unprofessional. I don't know. But this is Lower Decks. This isn't exactly the Enterprise. We need to send Mariner on a mission that's very, very safe. We got to get her reined in. We got to get her under control. Is there a reason my daughter is trying to get herself killed? Keep that in mind. Getting yourself killed. Trying to get yourself killed. Having a death wish. Terrible way of putting it, I know. But we have a mission. And that mission is to go to Scheer. And their weather satellite is malfunctioning. We just have to go fix it. It's an extremely safe mission. Trust us. Nothing's going to go wrong. But we have to make it sound dangerous. Can you do it? Can you do it? Lower Deckers, Boimler and co. Can you make it sound dangerous? There's something wrong with the Scheer space program. Their weather satellite's gone. We got to go update it and fix it. No problem. But hey, Captain, that's our A plot. What's your guys' B plot? Well, remember that mysterious ship that's causing such havoc this season? It's now going after Starfleet personnel, ex-Starfleet personnel as order, including Beverly Crusher, 7 of 9, Thomas Riker, and Nick Locarno. A lot of those names, you know, are ex-Starfleet now because this is before Picard. This is in those kind of between years. But who is Nick Locarno? Well, if you remember the TNG episode, First Duty, your first duty is to the truth. This is where the spoilers start. Okay, this is where you turn this off. This is where this episode goes crazy. Okay, it's cutting deep into the fabric of Star Trek, and I get why they said, "Please don't spoil this." There's a lot in here. There's a lot that is reframing how we view Lower Decks, digging back into classic episodes and mining them for new material. Nick Locarno was a character that, along with Cito, I think Wesley Crusher, and someone else, featured heavily in this episode of TNG called The First Duty. They were a member of, specifically Nick Locarno, a member of Nova Squadron, I think it was. It's been a while. And they're like real hotshots, ace pilots, right? They're kind of like mascots for Starfleet. They're the best of the best. They're really good at flying these shuttles, flying these ships, and we like to put on little shows. But one thing you don't do is you don't do illegal maneuvers that are unnecessarily dangerous. And you definitely don't do a starburst. I think that's what it was called. Was it a starburst or a supernova? Something like that. It doesn't matter in the context of this review. They weren't allowed to do this. Imagine, like, I don't know, for context, flying two planes too close together. Doing a maneuver too close to another plane that would otherwise render the situation unnecessarily dangerous. Possibly getting someone killed. And I believe that's what happened in that episode, if I'm remembering correctly. So we're on trial. We're on trial for our involvement with the Nova Squadron, insofar as it has to do with this illegal flight maneuver. Your first duty is to the truth, right, in Starfleet. As long as you're in Starfleet, the first duty is to the truth, personal truth, and a few other truths. I can't remember what Picard said. But the fact of the matter is, Nick Locarno was one of these people. So he's, ejected from Starfleet long, long ago. And we're digging up some TNG stuff. And here's the first of multiple TNG things to show up in this episode. Maybe Voyager things if you want to get kind of meta with it. Nick Locarno was played by the same actor. I'm going to call him Duncan McNeill. That played Tom Paris. Not only that, you see a photograph of Nick Locarno in a certain episode of Voyager, I think, that played the part, in a sense, of Tom Paris's photo. So it was Nick Locarno has on screen visually been referred to as Tom Paris at one point. We just reused the prop. Okay, so here's his picture. It was Nick Locarno. Now it's Tom Paris. And in the credits for this episode, Duncan McNeill is playing Nick Locarno. So we're going meta. And he looks a lot like Tom Paris in the episode. They show a picture of him. This character we're going after, the character that Cerritos is going after while our lower deckers are going to Scherbel, it looks like Tom Paris. And my brain is just like, whoa, what's going on here? We just went next level. Like, are we really going to try to explain why Nick Locarno looks exactly like Tom Paris? Like, what is happening? This is crazy. And it gets way crazier than that. The Cerritos is off doing its thing. And we're going to focus on the Lower Deckers plot for now. I'm going to call it the A plot. As you do, we're going to Scherbel. We're fixing this satellite. But we're not alone. The situation could get dangerous. According to Tallinn, it could get 2.47 times more dangerous if I do not tell you what we're doing on this mission. Oh, perfect. Let's go to the danger satellite. A great way for a Vulcan, specifically Tallinn, to tell the truth, but get what they want anyway. Right? We were trying to make it sound dangerous for Mariner to keep her uninvolved with the Locarno plot. So we're just going to say this is more dangerous by not saying what we're doing. If I don't tell you, it should be more dangerous. It's not a lie. Wonderful. So we're at Scherbel. We fixed this satellite. We're about to get away. We're back in our shuttle. Boimler makes a weirdly funny remark. He looks at the bad weather on Scherbel, lightning and all that. No wonder they need a weather satellite or a weather beacon or something like that. Like, he tries to make a funny joke, and it's so stupid, and it comes off so dumb that I thought it was funny. It was a weird laugh. I got weird laugh, but okay. I got it from Boimler. I don't know if you got it as well. There's Klingons there, and the Klingons disable our ship. Mariner is just in hog heaven right now. This is what she wanted. And we're forced to do an emergency beam down to the planet's surface. Thankfully, we beamed down to a safe spot. I'm not sure what the Klingon ship was doing there, the Klingon bird of prey. I have a feeling this will be more obvious when we get to the next episode. My view after multiple viewings was that I was not clear on the motivation of the Klingon ship. I'm not sure. Did they come back here to get the Klingon that was stranded there? Did they come back to kill him? I couldn't figure it out. Is their motive not their own? There's a reading into this you can make where you can say there was mutiny, there was discord on board the ships that the mysterious ship was transporting away. There was disagreements. Could it be that they were already under some kind of mind control? I don't know. I have a feeling that mind control, spies, maybe even a changeling somehow, I don't know at this point in the timeline, could be involved here. I don't know. But I get the sense there's something going on with the motives of certain characters that is not their own. I don't know. It's just something I'm noticing. Maybe Mariner is subject to that as well. Maybe my viewing of Mariner as being super reckless, maybe that was not entirely her own volition. That's a strange way of looking at it, but it was just something I was thinking of and couldn't get out of my head. So I'll relay that to you now. We get down to this planet, and Mariner just goes next level insane. I want whatever the apex predator on this planet to know I'm the apex predator. And that was the exact moment I was just, whoa, I'm okay. I was just off the Mariner boat here. In a manner of speaking, you know, this character is not a villain. I'm saying that, okay, I'm now shifted into the point where, okay, she needs help now. Like, it's no longer, this is just Mariner how she is. We've moved into the Mariner, okay, we're having a crisis moment with Mariner. We've moved away from bad personality to now, okay, we're in a crisis moment, and we need to walk some things back a bit, because this is insane for a Starfleet officer to say they want to be the apex predator, as if this is like the episode in TOS with the Gorn. We're brought down to a planet, for the purpose of fighting, although it works out happily in the end, not to spoil it. We end up seeing the Romulan from before, the Ferengi from before, later on Cardassians from before, and Binars and the like, Orions, who were all captured by this mysterious ship. We're all being brought to this planet. I don't know, is it to engage in combat? Is it for someone's sick entertainment? I have no, and after seeing the episode, I still don't know. But what it amounts to is Mariner being in a one-on-one battle, basically with this Klingon. She is bested by the Klingon and carried off to a cave where they can regroup. I'm going to go keep fighting that Klingon and do whatever and almost get myself killed in the morning when we've all chilled out. We all just kind of have an angry nap. In the middle of the night, Mariner steals into the night after walking over Boimler, whispering to himself in a dream, "Oh, teach me how to tap dance, Beverly." No doubt from the episode Data's Day? Is that what that's from? Am I crazy? Was it Data's Day, where Data learns how to tap dance with Beverly Crusher? Hold on, let me look it up. It is. I got it. I got it. This was an episode of TNG where Data and Beverly were tap dancing. Weird how things like that can stick in your memory. Nowadays, you'd say, "What? An episode like Data's Day? This sucks. I hate this." But, I mean, you have it in the past, and all of a sudden, hey, wasn't that cool? It was cool, wasn't it? Maybe it's not amazing. Maybe it's not super interesting. But we can't be firing on every cylinder every day, can we? This is supposed to be a realistic portrayal of one's life in the future in Starfleet. If every day is your heyday, I think you'd burn out pretty quick and you'd retire in a few years. So maybe boredom can be a good thing. If you'll excuse that screed I just had on Data's Day and how it relates to this, Boimler was just imagining being taught tap dancing by Beverly Crusher, as was depicted in that episode. Go watch it. Mariner goes off to fight this Klingon alone. They fight. She's quite the fighter to be able to go toe-to-toe with that Klingon like that. No doubt Starfleet combat training, pound for pound, makes you more powerful than an otherwise equal foe, in this case a Klingon. They're worn down. There's no more honor in fighting a fight like this, a fight of attrition. They retire to a cave where, our enemies engage in the same struggle and become friends. Is it a friend of convenience? Or is it more than that when this happens? It happens a lot in Star Trek, and it's happening here. And Mariner reveals another major spoilery bit in this episode to the Klingon. Her fears, her misgivings about Starfleet, why she has a quote-unquote death wish. And again, I don't know if we're making a moral character building achievement moment with Mariner, but some part of me feels like we had to walk back Mariner to get back to this point. So it's more like a 2 steps back, 1 step forward, maybe. I was seeing the development with Mariner seasons ago. I was seeing the improvements. I was seeing getting to where we needed to be. And now we recontextualize the problem as having a more deep-seated nature, right? Which would make me want to rescind, I should say, previous misgivings I've had with this character. But this is a TV show that's written on the fly. Like, was this something that was always there? Are we undoing the developments we made with Mariner just to get this next victory? Should I stop thinking about that and just take the victories as we get them? Mariner reveals that she knew Ensign Sito, who I believe was featured in the first duty, and then again in the TNG episode, Lower Decks. Lower Decks is somehow a sequel to the TNG episode Lower Decks. Wow, this wasn't the first episode of Lower Decks? No, we're revealing it 4 seasons in, that Mariner had a role model in Starfleet. Although she knew someone else that was always ahead of her, I think in season 1 or season 2, I forget what her name was. But there was a character who I thought was going to be name dropped here, and it was going to be that character, but it wasn't. It was Sito. Huge spoilers for the episode Lower Decks of TNG. There's a reason why we had a show spawned entirely from it. It's a very cool episode. Turn this off if you have not seen TNG Lower Decks. The episode is about seeing the captain, seeing the ship, seeing Starfleet's ideals from the lower level amongst ensigns, and the struggle to get to that higher level. So we see the ship from the point of view of ensigns, that, in this case, Sito, the character that Mariner is referring to as her role model, in a sense. The episode ends up getting Sito killed, okay? The captain has to deal emotionally and also professionally with allowing someone to die in the line of duty. That's what it is. Like, that's just how it works. It's not daycare. You can die, right? And you have to be able to cope with that. And Sito died in ensign. So if you have survivors, guilt, maybe you want to die in ensign as well, just like your role model did, right? So maybe Mariner is a little bit quick on the draw internally because she wants to get killed, like Sito. Very dark. But like I said at the beginning of this review, we go from the heights of comedy to the deepest, darkest levels of what's going on in the character's psyche. And with Mariner, she rips off one of her pips. The season is very much about promotion. It's about how you grow, how you go beyond your current station in life. And you can see it now from the first episode of season all the way till now. Mariner throws the pip off. The Klingon individual says Sito was a hero. She would want you to honor that. She puts the pip back on. And her own enemy helps her to go beyond, or take the first step in going beyond, this kind of survivor's type guilt. Okay? Another warrior. But you would probably, the more, inquiring of you may say, it's very weird that Starfleet didn't catch this. Ships are dangerous. Starfleet is dangerous. You have access to weapons. I would imagine Starfleet psychologists would have understood all of this before Mariner even understood it. They know more about you than you know about yourself, because ships are dangerous. Okay? At their worst, they can be a weapon of immense destruction that can cause incidents spanning the entire Federation of Planets and beyond. So, you want to screen for these things, and I guess Starfleet didn't catch it, or they did, and they knew she'd get over it. Taking the favorable view. I don't know. What's your view? So Mariner in this episode has become a more complete character, but I can't shake the feeling we had to maybe take a step back to go forward. I don't know. It's just that I saw Mariner's arc unfolding efficiently for me with a few missteps before this, right? And anyway, it's just interesting that we're taking Lower Decks and bringing it into Lower Decks, right? It's Lower Decksception. What if we put Lower Decks inside Lower Decks? Wouldn't that be cool? We just did it. Thanks for not spoiling anything, Internet. I didn't see anything beforehand. Thanks a lot. We end up not fighting this Klingon. We just force a hug on him. We're not going to fight. Mariner just hugs the Klingon. If only Mbenga did that to Dakra in Strange New Worlds. Just hug him. Just randomly. You know what? I don't care. And just hug him. Maybe he wouldn't have died. I don't know. But leave it to Mariner to come up with the intuitive, lateral thinking solution that maybe it doesn't even require a lot of thinking. It requires impulse, emotion, charisma, going boldly. We're hugging that Klingon, and we're going right into that sphere of battle where all those aliens, Romulans, Orions, whatever, were captured by that mysterious ship, and we're going to say, no, we are savage animals, but we will not fight today. I'm kind of, we're not a savage child race. I'm just weird, smoky, mist-filled valley of Star Trek lines coming back into my head. Forgive me if it doesn't make sense, but we do stop the fighting. We all went into space for a reason to explore, although I would question whether or not these starship captains and crew would really just unwittingly fight each other. They're not stupid. Your average crew member on these starships would maybe not immediately start fighting on a planet. We already kind of solved this with TOS, where Kirk just kind of stops fighting the Gorn and a few other episodes that were just like this. There's no reason to fight. I didn't see a compelling reason. This is, though, a part one of a two-parter in a sense, so I don't know if I'm reading this appropriately. Like I said before, are the motives of these characters their own? Is there something else going on here? Is there something going on in their mind? I don't know. But we need to get to this beacon, this transmitter. It transmits information about the weather to that satellite. We can repurpose it into a distress beacon. Great. Let's get control of this. We can update it. We're all on board. Lower deckers, aliens, quote unquote, all together now. Let's do it. The Klingon bird of prey, beautiful shot of it deorbiting. They do perform well in atmosphere. Comes down and destroys the satellite dish. I'm not sure why they said that's the source of the distress beacon. Destroy it. I watched it a few times. I'm not sure what it means. Maybe I'll get it in the next part. So I'm going to reserve some judgment in that regard. We destroy the satellite. They do. Now we have no means of communicating that we need to get out of here. Mariner is beamed away. I was like, that's got to be the mysterious ship. I keep calling it that. That's its name now, I guess. They think it was that Klingon bird of prey. All of our characters climb up a cliff, jump onto the bird of prey. It doesn't get to fly away in time. They pull through, they by hand rip into the hull. I'm not sure that's something you could do, but the Klingon guy does it. They get into the ship, and these ruffians, what they amount to, take over the ship. Frighteningly, the Klingon seems to kill the captain. This is our ship now. I was like, whoa, this is going a weird direction. This is getting a little freaky. What's going on here? Are we playing into the plot of the mysterious ship? Are we being played like a fiddle? I'm not sure. I'm excited, though. That's our A-plot. Mariner wakes up on this ship just to get this out of the way. We're on the mysterious ship. I was excited. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I was so into it. She's looking around. This is so minimalist. And I was thinking, I mentioned this before a few reviews ago. I know I'm getting excited. I said a few reviews ago that I thought that this ship was Starfleet. I thought it was a Starfleet ship from the future or something. It reminded me of the U.S.S. Relativity. It's like, what is going on here? What is this? She opens the door and Nick Locarno is there. Our plots are doing this. We're intertwining. We're going to be on collision course next episode. The Cerritos is going after Nick Locarno. Nick Locarno is on this mysterious ship. To what degree does he control it, though? Could Nick Locarno, ex-Starfleet pilot, now rogue, really have built this? Is that why it looks like a Starfleet ship, kind of? It looks so advanced. What's going on with it? The mysteries are still there. I'm being fed new facts, but the mystery is still good. It's still fresh for me. I'm liking that. In our A-plot, the Cerritos has to go to Axton, New Axton, twice as bad as Old Axton. We would believe that this is like that planet from Star Trek V, Paradise City or something? Nimbus? What was that planet they go to? It's just a planet of entirely filled up with characters of, we'll call them low moral fabric, I guess. Pickpockets and the like. Crime, that kind of thing. That the Cerritos will no doubt need to contend with. These people are lawless, but they're not lawless, it turns out, humorously. They're just overly regulated and law-hungry for a law that is not our own. The Cerritos has to get in line. You're interrupting our thermosphere. Go hide behind the moon for a moment, and we'll take you on a shuttle the legal and correct way, following our regulations down to the surface, okay? You thought it was lawless, but it was just a law that you did not understand. So we get down to the surface. We're going to the pickpocket district. Joke's on them. These pants don't have pockets. You're playing into that old idea that Star Trek pants don't have pockets. Where are their pockets? Why do they always need to have a belt on to hold anything? And then Rutherford checks his pants. They do have pockets. They had pockets all along. Oh, well. We can go to Zorky's or we can go to Mud's Market, which I believe was a place in Star Trek Online. I don't know if I'm imagining that. It's been a while. But we go to this place, and at every turn, we're beaten to the punch by a mysterious-looking, freaky, I don't know, a full face mask character who just looks the picture of bounty hunter, and he plays a bounty hunter. And this bounty hunter is always getting ahead of us. We need to get into this bar to talk to this guy, to broker for some black market information on where this Nick Locarno is. We can't get in here. You're Starfleet. You're wearing uniforms. Is that an attack on Discovery? Remember the last season of Discovery when we went to that seedy establishment, fully dressed up in our Starfleet outfits and didn't care? Remember that? And at the time I said, this is kind of stupid. Well, we're kind of making fun of it here. You can't just go in here wearing your Starfleet clothes, but that bounty hunter guy looks kind of scary. He can go through with his creepy robot voice. Again, bested again by the creepy robot bounty hunter creature. Eventually, we do get into this bar, and we talk to the information broker, which is Blaylock's puppet. What the hell did I just say? Did you guys ever think it was strange that in TOS we had a character called Blaylock, right? He's like I believe he was played by Clint Howard as a baby, an alien who, in order to scare Captain Kirk, used a puppet on screen that looked much more fearsome than he did because he just looked like, well, a baby. That was Blaylock. I just accidentally called him Blaylock or Blaylock, which is an actor or actress from Star Trek Enterprise whose name was Jolene Blaylock, who played T'Pol. So my brain just made a connection like that I never would have made otherwise. Just a random lightning bolt. In Star Trek, we have Blaylock and Blaylock. There you go. Here's the Art of Star Trek. This book I have. And the last page of this book is Blaylock's puppet, who plays a role in this episode. in a sense. What do you think of that? Anyway, Blaylock's puppet is... Balok's puppet is there. I've seen this thing before. Freeman, no doubt, have watched TOS, just as Boimler, no doubt, watched TNG. This thing is just a puppet. It's not real. She picks it up and shake it. Why do you Starfleet people think that you can just pick up and shake anybody? It wasn't a puppet. He was just moving robotically. And according to Rutherford's scanner, thank you for using his prosthetic more, by the way, in the last few episodes, determines that no, it isn't indeed a biological organism. Although that bounty hunter character did get away with the information. I can't give it to you. I already sold it to that guy. Foiled again. What are we going to do? We don't have this information. We can't find Nick Locarno. Only thing is that we just did find Nick Locarno. Freeman was ahead of the game. Misdirection is the name of the game in this episode, you see. She actually had the information anyway, because that mysterious bounty hunter character is not the pilot of the mysterious ship, which had me fooled. I kind of thought that must be the bad guy this season. No. Helmet comes off, it's Billups, the engineer. It's Billups. He was pretending to be that bounty hunter. Makes me wonder how he faked the credentials. Given we're on this planet that is, more bureaucratically inclined than we expected, we were able to fake credentials enough to get past basically anyone on this planet. Billups dressed up as he was. I don't know how that works, but we do have the secret information. So we can find Nick Locarno's secret lair. We do find it. Oh no, you gotta see this. We look up. What is it? In Nick Locarno's lair, there is, I don't know, a diagram, plans, blueprints, whatever, for the mysterious ship on the wall. I still don't believe he built it. I'm thinking that there's something, this is misdirection still. I'm thinking Nick Locarno just got in over his head. He met somebody. They gave him the ship. He's in over his head. He's not in his right mind. There's something going on controlling these characters' minds. I don't know what it is. I've just got a feeling that we're not done. There's still another mystery here. And I'm on board. That was our plot for this episode. A mile a minute. You can't say this plot was boring. There was so much going on. A lot going on thematically, although it's a little bit muddled. I couldn't quite intertwine the A plot and the B plot. Musically, I didn't get very much out of it. Visually, I would like to point out a lot of beautiful displays here. We saw the Cerritos, a beautiful image of the Cerritos right at the beginning, like I said. Very detailed. It looked new. It was clean, shiny. Very cool. We saw the bird of prey deorbiting. Awesome. Flying through the atmosphere, as they do. I was very impressed by these visuals. I was impressed that I could recognize the Romulan from the planet. I knew I'd seen him before. That's the same guy from the Romulan ship earlier. Not just having known it from the context of the episode, but visually. I could determine that he was the same guy from episodes ago that was transported away by this mysterious ship. Still don't know what it's called. And there's a lot of interesting visuals, interesting visual references, although references do not make the show. When we get down to New Axton, by the way, which is twice as bad as Old Axton, and way less charmful. Didn't he say something like that? Didn't Shaxs say, and none of the charm, something like that? I don't know. Very amusing either way. We're getting a visual win, plot, pulse pounding. Edge of my seat. Musically, again, par for the course. It's a far cry from Caves, but it's, it's on brand for Lower Decks, which is to say, I didn't really hear much, unfortunately. It's not unlike kind of like a middle season TNG musically, and along with the rest of the Berman years, there were some boring tracks, I must say, just if we're being honest. Music took the back seat in those years, as it does here. Thematically, taking a step back with Mariner, we're showing that, okay, maybe these problems with Mariner were not just to defy her mother. Maybe it was a survivor's guilt leading to a death wish, in a sense, if you would excuse the nomenclature regarding that, and how we take our first step to get over it, how we deal with being the survivor, how we deal with our own heroes dying at a lower station than we were at. I'm now further along than my hero ever was. Very strange. It's not. I don't believe it's totally unique to this episode, but it was welcome. After having internalized the theme, realizing what was going on with Mariner, I like it better than just a totally petty kind of I don't know, I don't like my mom. But it does bring into question the efficacy of Starfleet psychologists. Surely they could have noticed these things. She does indeed, I don't know if it's a result of her actions, but she certainly was involved in hurting that civilian scientist at the beginning. Again, a bit of a gray area whether or not it was her fault. I don't know. Would the anti-venom suit have stopped the creature from getting on her back and then getting inside? I have no idea. I think it was played up intentionally to be misleading in that way so that you could not tell. Again, misdirection. And with our B plot, it seems very thematically dry. We're just going into this planet, finding Nick Locarno. We get the information, and then we learn where we need to go next, story-wise. It's all plot, no theme, but our A plot on the planet, on Scheer, is a better mix, I'll say. All of our Romulans, Orions, whatever, I hesitate to just call them all aliens. Like it's just such a broad brush to paint them with. I do question whether or not they would actually all be dumb enough to just start fighting amongst each other. Was there something going on beforehand that I did not see? Is there details left out? It's hard for me to draw a conclusion on that in that regard to what the motivations are for these characters. All that being said, I did enjoy myself, just not as much as the past two, so I'm going to have to go with a flat 6. It's definitely one I'm going to try to come back to, try to get to mine more out of, both thematically and with regards to hidden plot details. Like I said, not explicitly revealed, but there was a moment where one of our characters said, before we were transported away, there was mutiny on my ship. I don't know if it was the Ferengi guy that said it. I can't remember. But go back and look at it. Ask yourself, are characters being mind controlled in some way? I've had this theory for a while. And so I think that ship, it's Starfleet in some way. Nick Locarno didn't build it, but he's using it. He might be working for something else, someone else. And we just don't have all the answers here. And the next episode, I think, is going to be explosive, and I'm ready for it. And we managed to take Nick Locarno, concepts from the TNG episode Lower Decks and the First Duty, and make them compelling decades after the fact. We're mining the old to make new ideas. Okay, what's old is new again, and that was Lower Decks. And I can't wait to see you back here when we review the next episode, the final episode of this season. We're done. And we're going to be having our own little retrospective on this whole season. As you know, I tend to do when we get to the end of the season. I like to break the fourth wall a little bit in that way, with the regards to the style and layout of the channel. I'm Lieutenant Mark. That was Lower Decks, Season 4, Episode 9, The Inner Fight, no doubt referring to Mariner being in that inner battle with herself to exceed Cedo or to succumb to her own inner fear. The Inner Fight. I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you next time I see you. So long.